talked to a friend of mine today. He was just like, I don't know what's coming or going. I go, yeah, dude, that's what the whole point is, to get you emotionally trapped on one side and then just decimate you for being on that side. And like I've said a bunch of times, I'm politically nihilist. I am anarchist when it comes to politics. I trust none of these fuckers. I can't. And I get why, because we're mammals. We run in packs. We want an alpha. We want a leader. We're tired. I saw Mel K, tweeting at, I don't know, Cash Patel or somebody like that. I don't know who she was tweeting at. I love her to pieces. And she was like, man, something needs to happen, man. It's getting demoralizing. I'm like, that's the whole point, is
Yeah.
to get you demoralizing. If you start believing in any of these motherfuckers, you're going to be let down. You're going to be let down. You have to have your head on a swivel. You have to be a type of almost Boba Fett, a lone assassin. And I mean, you could lean politically one way or the other, like I personally believe, and I'll probably lose some people by saying this. I think we need a conservative base with a fucking old school liberal rebellion. And that's kind of like an agreement that, like, in the public place, everybody chills the fuck out. We don't need to know what you're doing sexually. We don't need you to be trying to go viral. We don't need any of that shit. When you're at the food court of life, chill the fuck out. You do your thing, I do my thing. And when you go home, then wave your freak flag. Nobody needs it out in public. Nobody does. And that's what I'm saying. So, I'm close to God. I have God in my heart, all that stuff. But when it comes to these politicians, I don't trust any of them as far as I can kick them. Your thoughts, Steve?
No, I mean, you know me. I host a show called Anarchy in the Morning. I'm the hardcore agorist, voluntarist. I've had no love for any of these clowns since before I was old enough to vote. Yeah, I got turned on to psychedelics and an alternative way of thinking way too early in my life, and it sort of shaped my entire worldview, along with reading stuff that I probably shouldn't have got a hold of when I got a hold of it. I got given a copy of Behold a Pale Horse in like 1994, and I read that like it was the Bible, you know, and it's been a journey of being, quite alone in the wilderness for a very long time. And then in the last like 12 to 15 years, been a lot of people who really started to crack the code a bit. And I've found some significant kinship in a lot of people as a result of that, you being one of them, Sam. And I'm very like I'm more hopeful now than I've ever been in my life for the future of people actually waking up and figuring this shit out, and taking significant steps to decouple from an inherently violent criminal mafia state that hates you and wants to squeeze every last penny and drop of blood and plasma out of. So it's a really good, like it's a really good spot to be in. By the way, I forgot to shout out Tony Arterburn and Wise Wolf Gold. That's the only reason Sam's getting out there to the carnival, is because Tony stepped up and
We
sponsored it,
love him,
sponsored
dude.
the
We
event.
love him and his tiny dog.
Yep.
Mean, Tony's great. For me, dude, it is like again, talking to my friend today, I was just like, hey man, you gotta like look inside. You like that's the only way to handle this shit, is like, again, the word you're using, decouple from this system. Guns, gold, silver, land, grow your own food, and do the best you can. I mean, like, we've been talking about this stuff. This He brought up a really great thing. We go to the same school. Our kids go to the same school, and he was talking about how his wife. We go to a lot of the same kids parties together, and they were telling me that his wife is like from a Zoroastrianism family,
Hmm.
and Zoroastrianism is like doomed to fail because the only way you could get into Zoroastrianism officially is to be born into it by two people who are already Zoroastrians. So eventually it's just going to die out, So, but he was talking to me like there's this old book, and he goes, the things that people are complaining about today, people have been complaining about for thousands of years, which plays into this kind of thing that I think is like a lot of this is like energy vampire stuff. Like, and I got Tim Pool in trouble. According to Tim Pool, I don't know if it's real or not. But, I talked about energy vampires, and for some reason, you know, TikTok dinged his channel for that. And then later they dinged him for something else as well. So he doesn't have a TikTok anymore because I'm dangerous like that. But, you know, this seems to be it, dude. This constantly pressing us, constantly getting our anxiety up. And on top of that, now they seem to be just making us sick and ignorant at the same time.
Yeah. And it's a 75 to 100 year to 1,000 year complete and total warfare on the civilian population. And, you guys know what Rockefeller medicine has done to people. You guys know what Rockefeller education has done to people. That's why I'm really glad that John Klychek is going to be coming out to Third Eye Carnival, because he really does help people, unschool as far as that goes. And shout out also to Richard Grove and Autonomy University
One of the
for doing
best.
the exact same thing, man. Richard Grove is an absolute G, and he's been doing this shit since 2006, you know, um, trying to wake people up and trying to get people to understand this. So I'm really, really glad that there's people that, I've been able to connect with and then become friends with that have led the way. And um, we're at a point now, even with all of the available information in the entire universe at your fingertips, held in your hand, we've never been in more of a filter verse. And we've been drawn into kind of this, pre-prescribed algorithm that only shows you stuff that you're supposed to emotionally react to, and only supposed to, or stuff that you only agree with. And it's so
Yeah.
just fucking retarded, Sam. It's so retarded. We should be at a point now to where we're open to absolutely everything and we're allowed to choose. But because we have
Mhm.
a handful of tech oligarchs, all of whom seem to be in the Trump
Mhm.
administration, by the way, that are pre-prescribing what we see and what we're supposed to believe in, that I kind of feel like, you know, the while there is a significant number of people waking up, there's also a significant number of people that have never been more dumb. And it's such a wild time to be in.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people on the show in the past talk about how algorithms are the new Tower of Babel, just getting us so we don't all speak
It's a good
the
analogy.
same language and have different data points. I saw some conservative influencer, which I have a lot of friends in that space, and I don't hate anybody. Um, talking about, well, she's like, why did I just find out that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a Mossad agent? I'm like, because your algorithm is lying to you and keeping data away from you. You
Hmm.
are like, if you're agreeing with everybody on your timeline, you are trapped in an algorithm hole. That's what you're trapped in, an algorithm hole feeding you what you want to hear. You really want to see what's going on? Log out of the app and go to the front page and see it's a completely different. I mean, dude, it's literally like the multiverse. You're like, what is this reality? Where is this reality at? Holy shit, this is a totally different reality than what I'm used to, which is like right now, Twitter is just feeding me nothing but shit that about Zionists that pisses me off. That's
Hmm.
all it's doing. And I'm reacting to it and I'm getting more views than I've ever gotten in my life because I'm feeding into it.
Well, it wasn't there a button that Instagram created where like refreshes your algorithm? Anybody click on it or anybody even try it out?
I've never even heard of it. I would love that because I'm tired of giant fat asses on Instagram. There's so many tits and ass, and I just can't fight it because it's in my monkey DNA. But I know I'm old. I know I'm 52, and like my like sex drive isn't what it was. Thank God. Um, but it's just like, a hot woman used to mean something back in the day. You're like, oh my God, that is a gorgeous woman. And like there was value in that. Now on Instagram, it just seems like you can't throw a rock without hitting a triple D cupped 10. Like they're around every corner now.
So
It's the hooker rhythm.
It's
do you
a
think it
hooker
would
rhythm.
do you think it would have made it worse? You think you would have gone crazy with so much access now, or you think you would have got desensitized and been like, I'm over it faster?
Are you over it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like you said, looking at fine women isn't what it used to be. Like fine women used to be a thing. Like, oh, I saw a fine woman at the store. That's the finest woman I've seen for a week. I can go on Instagram and that fine woman means nothing in 5 seconds.
Yep. I mean, it's just so bad, they figure out ways to play in the system, which I get because comedically I do the same thing. I try to see what I can get away with on Instagram to keep it authentic. Well, they're doing the same thing, but from a sex worker point of view,
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
right? And they're just trying to like, oh, if I use this fake baby, I can show my fat nipples.
Well, we're gonna have an investigation really soon on Broken Sim live this Friday into the hot Downs filter. Apparently, there's a giant conspiracy about people putting a Down syndrome filter on their face. Hot chicks to game the system to get
Imagine that, like you're a hot chick with a fat
still
rack,
here, by the way.
a fat rack, a gorgeous ass,
Yeah,
and you can't get any following going, but you put a Downs filter on and suddenly
Crazy.
you have a bazillion likes.
it's crazy.
Okay, is it because guys think they can get with the Downs, or because they find Downs attractive?
Because it's just unicorn shit that we've never
different.
seen before.
It's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something different.
I mean, when we were growing up, doesn't matter if they were female Downs or male Downs, they all had dad bods.
They did.
Yeah, we got into that on Broken Sim. Yeah,
They
were
all had fortunes
heavy people.
and freaking arm fat, and it looked like they all looked like John Kruk. Remember John Kruk?
Yes,
yes,
yes.
of course, with the Phillies. Yeah.
Yes. They
Yeah.
look like the starfish from SpongeBob.
Patrick.
That's what they all look like.
They all look like if
100%.
you needed help, like getting your wagon unstuck in the mud, they could come along and help you.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what they
the
were
wheel.
there for,
Yeah,
to push you out of the mud.
yeah, totally.
Right?
Right. They were the Dodge 2500 diesel of human beings. They were.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy that they're using a filter, man. I didn't even know that. That's
It's
new
a big
knowledge.
conspiracy.
Because out of nowhere, they just showed up. All of a sudden, there was hot Downs everywhere. Just hot Downs. And there's this one video right now of some blonde Downs. She's just sitting here quiet. She's like, this is me like this. This is me. Boom. And out of nowhere, the fattest rack jumps out. And you're like, what is going on here?
Oh, dude,
Oh,
the games they play to show their tits off, these women, it's like, I saw one woman like, yeah, just in line at TSA, they're being kind of rude, and it's just her nipples are like really popping out, and she's got skins, what is it, like tights on, and like the top equivalent of tights. And it's clearly just showing her tits off, but she's making it like it's about the TSA because obviously she can't just post, hey, here are my tits. So,
yeah, they got to come up with creative ways, like a choose your own adventure, but it always ends with tits and camel.
dumb, dude.
Someone's running that account, right? The Downs account. It's not them, right? There has to be their mom or their sister
No,
running it.
there's a manager for sure.
Well, I'm not sure they're Downs, honestly.
Imagine if you were a manager to the hot Downs.
I'm starting
And
to
you had
doubt
to
it.
explain to someone they weren't hot enough to be in your stable. You're like,
We found
"Hey,
an exit strategy. We don't
Yeah.
have to podcast anymore.
I'm sorry about
well,
this.
imagine you're a model, right? And they're like, listen, we're gonna have to let you go unless you start doing the Downs filter on your Instagram. Then we might be able to keep you afloat.
DI,
Crazy.
DI.
DEI, yeah. I mean, it is the equivalent, I guess.
It's crazy to
fucking
me,
hilarious.
dude. It's
So
just
dark.
it's crazy, but it is getting dark, dude. And like Like I just feel like at some point, Steve, that they were like, we created this internet. Maybe it got away from them. Maybe it did because Johnny said before where like they felt like there's gonna be 7 websites on the internet. That's what they said, and now there's like a billion websites on the internet. And did it get away with? Did like 2015 become like a turning point for them? Because I feel like the internet was just this insanely awesome thing up till Hillary Clinton decides to run for president. And then when everybody kind of calls her out on her bullshit, then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we got to lock this down. You guys are talking too much shit. And the internet just kind of changes. I know nobody likes Elon. I feel like Twitter is the closest thing we've had to early YouTube right now.
Yes.
A lot of hate on there. I get it, but there's always been hate, people. It's just aimed at you now, and you're angry about it when before you were okay with them teeing off on white people forever. But it just seems like the internet has like kind of just fucking turbocharged like us getting out of control. Like going viral has caused this kind of chaos in society because it's the only thing that gets seen. It's like we did something on doom scrolling the other day where we were talking about how, you know, that like what Mr. Beast, which is such an interesting name, Mr. Beast
Yes.
talks about the purple cow. Like you want to find the purple cow because there's all these normal cows, the black and white cows. They don't do anything interesting, but purple cow, nobody's ever seen a purple cow. So you want to find the purple cow in everything that you're doing. That's when that's why Xavier, who
is that like a
can't do
marketing-
math, is doing poker. Everyone's like, look at this guy. He can't even add.
What do you
Somehow
mean
he's
by
playing
is that
poker.
his marketing advice? Is that what you're saying?
That's how he became famous. He goes, you have to find the purple cow.
He says
And
that.
nobody's
Like
yeah,
that's his strategy. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it. He's basically telling you don't go copy other people. Like
Yeah.
just because you like that guy doesn't mean you copying him is gonna do your thing. Do something that's completely different. Blue cow bullshit. That's blue cow bullshit. That's what
But
he
we
means.
have seen where people have copied other people, like the Whatever podcast copied Fresh and Fit, where and this guy getting some occult shit. But and I'm not the one who came up with this. KP Burke, I saw him on a podcast talking about this. But though those podcasts where basically they sit all these OnlyFans models around and the guys just rip them. Andrew Wilson's on it. He's really great at it. I'm a big fan of his. But it is literally a humiliation ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. You get humiliated for an hour. These guys tell you what a retard you are,
yeah.
and in
Sticks out.
return, you get thousands of dollars in OnlyFans subscribers. That's the goal. Go on there, get your pussy kicked in, and then hopefully people will watch you diddle yourself for $5 a month.
Yeah, it is a really, really weird time. And in terms of like Elon and Twitter and stuff like that, I have never been more shadow banned. I have never been more reach limited. I have never been more like buried than I have since Elon took over Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You're not shadow banned on Instagram because I can't get a like to save my life. And I've gone on shows begging for likes. And they're like, dude, you just popped up on my Instagram feed. Dana's yelling at me because we can't put this show on YouTube. We have to have a fan do it, and we have to because he misses episodes. We're like, please put up that episode, and he just won't get back to me. He thinks I'm going to yell at him or something.
You gotta do the Last American Vagabond pirate stream thing where you just have a bunch of people that have their own YouTube channels that throw it out on everyone, and as one gets knocked down, 2 more pop up.
Yeah, that's what we do, dude. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. But this fan has been great. He uploads it. He just skips some episodes, and I'm just like, put it up. But maybe he's worried about losing his channel. He's like, oh, I can't put that one up. That one will get
too
me in
hot for him.
trouble.
That's
Yeah,
great.
no, I've never experienced more shadow banning or reach limiting than during the Yacarino Elon Musk regime. It has been
I'm the
really
exact
frustrating.
opposite.
Same here.
Yeah.
I don't get it then. I don't get it because I'm teeing off on Israel. I'm teeing off on Zionists. I'm teeing off
But
on.
it's okay because it's division.
Yes,
That
I'll get
creates
that.
division.
I'll get
And
that.
and I mean, dude, you know me. I don't like. I'll go deep in the paint against people who are live streaming as a genocide all day every day. I will, but um, all I really use Twitter, all I've ever used Twitter for is to promote my show, promote my friends, and occasionally shit post. That's it. And I don't spend all day on there. I don't, it's,
Well, you
but
have 9,000 podcasts. How can you?
right? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then I also got kids, and then my girl's got kids, and I have real life shit that I have to
Kids
do.
got kids.
Chores that I have to do. Not yet, but I'm hoping, dude. I can't wait to be a grandfather. I can't, dude. My son's turning 19 tomorrow. I'm like, hey, maybe, maybe in the next like 4 to 5 years, you could find yourself a big booty Latina and settle down with her, and it would be cool to pop out a grandbaby or two. But
Shout out Alex Stein.
I mean, I did. I have a big booty Latina. She's rad.
Nice.
I love her. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Latinas are saving
never
rock
really-
and roll, by the way. They're the only hot chicks at a rock concert. All
Yeah.
the white girls are just doing ecstasy and listen to a guy hit a cash register.
Yep.
They don't listen to fucking heavy metal.
Dude, I've always been more inclined towards the brown and black anyway. But yeah, dude, I'm home.
Latinas are special, dude. They're very special people. So that sucks, dude, because I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, I realize that even like Leonardo Joni, like I realize like she's figured it out on like Instagram. If she presses it and goes really like hard in the paint, she gets a ton of views, and it rewards that. My pronoun bit went to almost 1 million on there. It's the only thing I've ever had. Well, I have one thing on my Conspiracy Social Club Instagram that's gone over 2 million. It's me just making fun of the WNBA. But again, that's causing chaos. So it's either you're causing fighting or you're doing the dumbest shit possible. Those are the two things that social media pushes for.
It across the board, and I go after Elon for being the most disingenuous, autistic, lying ass defense contractor, being like, I can't believe there's war. Dude, you're a defense contractor. You saw that picture of the front row at the inauguration where it was, Bezos and everybody in that front row, except for Bezos's wife with her tits out, is a social media mogul and defense contractor at the same time. There's no Zuckerberg without In-Q-Tel and the CIA. There's no
And
Jeff
DARPA.
Bezos. Yes. There's no Bezos without DARPA, because you and I both know who was the first director of DARPA, Sam?
His grandpa.
Yes, sir. That's correct. Larry Ellison, who Oracle's first client for years was an only client, was the CIA. But Trump is going to, bring him and Sam Altman, who also Altman.
No, Altman. Yeah. The shady ass dude who, like, again, a humiliation ritual. Sister says she raped him, and he's connected to a murder of a whistleblower. Next week, gets a $500 million defense contract, or $500 billion, right? Wasn't it $500 billion?
$500 billion. And that's the front row at the inauguration. To say nothing of David Sachs and Peter Thiel, whose golf glove is the vice president of the United States right now, and JD Vance. There's no JD Vance without Peter Thiel. Thiel made him. We're living in the PayPal mafia bait and switch.
Do you think JD Vance had to do weird butt stuff?
Why do you think he wears that guy liner, dude? Why do you think he looks like the guy from Green Day?
Interesting, dude. And it's very interesting that a gay agent plays him on Saturday Night Live too, so perfectly. You're like, interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you think about this whole kind of like this. It's just how all these Indians suddenly are everywhere.
Well,
Native or
No, no, 7-Eleven,
no, yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
tribal, 7-Eleven.
yeah. Not feather dot.
Yeah, not feather, but dot.
Yeah, yeah. It's not fry bread, but non.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a
It's
lot of
just
different ways.
interesting to me because India is slowly becoming more of a superpower. A lot of people want to move from China to India, bring a lot of production there, manufacturing there. During
Mhm.
Trump's first administration, he wanted to move all this manufacturing from China to India. And now you see them just everywhere. I mean, we have an Indian running for governor of Ohio.
Yeah. Well, and he's the guy who told everybody on Twitter Americans are untrainable retards, and that's why we need the H-1B program. And Elon Musk confirmed that too. Yeah, basically, Americans are untrainable retards. So we need to import Indians here. And the H-1B program basically is indentured servitude
Yeah.
for anybody who actually knows anything about it. It locks you into your job. If you quit or you get fired, you're gone. And so it's an indentured servitude program where you can abuse and humiliate the workforce, pay them substandard wages, and force them to comply with whatever demands you, as the corporate overlord, put forth. It, it's it, as much as like the great replacement theory is iffy. This is what that is. We're replacing the workforce with indentured servitude.
Yeah, but the great replacement theory's somewhat been proven to be true. I mean, I don't think people want to face that kind of reality and maybe who's behind it, but we've seen many videos talking about it and the
Mhm.
flooding of countries with foreign cultures, cheap labor. We've said this before on the show. Everyone's like, Americans don't want to work these jobs. I'm like, really? Because I saw a 50-year-old at the drive-thru at Wendy's. You
Yeah.
know? What are you
Yeah,
talking
I
about?
have a kid that's about to go be a farmhand.
They want to work. People need jobs. Men need jobs. Men need to work. Men are defined by their ability to, you know, support families. So it's like it's a big part, and that's why you see a lot of men drifting right now. They don't know where to go, and I do believe the future is a gig society. Becoming a plumber, becoming an electrician, becoming a handyman, figuring out a way to produce, kind of like we do on this show. Like this is how we make our money. We work really hard on content creating. Steve and I are in a battle for who has more podcasts. It's come down to him and I. We're the final level bosses. But this is how we work. And like this is the only thing I can do is talk shit in mass volume, you know?
But we've
I
also talked
saw,
about how if you're in your
well,
50s, you shouldn't be working at In-N-Out. By then, you should have already at least been a manager. There's another thing where it's like it goes back to
Well, I
nobody
mean,
wants a
like,
shitty job.
yeah, but unfortunately, let me finish my thought real quick because it will fit into what you're talking about. Like the future is going to be, can you create your own brand and business and do that? Like I had a friend of mine who like works in Hollywood and he's talking about how it's really slow and he does set design, do all that. I go, hey dude, I don't want to overstep myself, but have you ever thought about becoming an independent contractor handyman? Because there's money in that.
Yeah.
We have a friend, Steve, Scott Armstrong,
oh yeah.
who moved to Nashville and did exactly that.
Hmm.
And he's thriving. He loves it.
Yeah.
So
I,
I'm
I I did that for 25 years. I was an under the table handyman, carpenter, remodel, builder, all that kind of stuff, right up until the moment that I started doing the shows full time.
right. So like that's where it's going. And unfortunately, like we've heard many times when it comes to the truth, that 80% of the population is incapable of challenging authority. There's going to be a large portion of the population that is just not built to do what they got to do, which is create your own business. A lot of people are just meant to work within the corporate structure. Again, not that they're we're not like when we get into the NPC thing, I think that's the demoralization and dehumanization of people. But it's like their inability to question authority. They're meant to work. There's a reason why big cities are big cities, because that's where a lot of these people that want to work within a corporate structure go. And unfortunately, like everyone thinks the manufacturing jobs are going to be the ones that go because of AI. It's going to be those office jobs.
Yeah. Emails.
Yeah.
You don't need no one to write an email. You just ask Chat GBT to kind of write it for you, and there you go.
Johnny knows that, like, I tried to forever talk to SeatGeek about getting my money back from the World Series game that never happened. And it wasn't until Johnny said DM them on Twitter that I was able to make it happen. I can't talk. There's no number to call to talk to somebody, which I think should be illegal. If you have a giant corporation, you should have a number that people can call to talk about their problems, so you're not like yelling over and over into an AI.
With X, dude, I have no way of contacting X about this. They have a blank appeal page that gives you no response. You don't even know if they received it. Some people say they hear back immediately. Some people say it takes years, like a year or more to hear back. I have no way. I've contacted support. The regular Twitter support, X support, says now that it can only be accessed if you have the premium version of Twitter. So that you get no support at all. You can't even DM them unless you have the premium you're paying, which they just increased the price again this coming month. And once you reach them, it takes a week, and then it's clearly like a form letter that you're getting back. It's probably AI, I'm guessing, and I mean, it's like 3 things they can help you with. Like if you've been hacked, it's one of them. But yeah, there's no one to reach. You can't get a human to save your life.
So I have
good. Go ahead.
I have a friend that's gonna become a truck driver. He's taking his license. What do you tell someone like that? They're doing good, they're going to school, but how do you tell him like, yo, this isn't gonna last long? I wanted to tell him he's 6 months in, but then you're like, what do you tell him? Because you're like, dude, this has gone in like 4 or 5 years. Like you need to not do
Get
that.
your money. That's good money. I mean, if you're willing to drive and drive, you can make some decent cash doing it. But yeah, I think I mean it won't. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 years before truck driving is really gone, but in the next decade, yeah.
The thing that I tell my son all the time is if you want to go headfirst into something, rock that shit till the wheels fall off, but be prepared to do something else.
Yeah.
And develop.
I agree too. I mean, like, do it.
Skill sets while you're doing it.
And I mean, like, a lot of people are always like doom and gloom, and this is going to destroy this is going to destroy that. But I also believe, like, to a certain point, like, human beings are only going to go so far. Like, they want us to get on these glasses. They want, like, people are just like, no, I'm not down with that at all. And by the way, if you're an idiot that wears smart glasses, just know the only thing that's going to do for you is increase your workload.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you're going to have to work even more because it's constantly going to be in your glasses. I'm just telling you, dude. Like,
what do you mean? I don't know what you mean. You mean the people you work with can get you now? Like,
yeah, a lot quicker. Okay. Everything's going to be email, bang, bang, bang. Dude, this phone, we work 3 times more than our fathers and our grandfathers. We work way more for less money.
Some of you do. Anyway, yeah.
I work 18.
Okay, so your dad was a farmer. I got you, John.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all my people were farmers and they worked like literally all the time. So yeah, but I get what you're saying. Most people in cities, especially, yeah.
I worked. I left a 9 to 5, Johnny, for a 24/7. Okay.
Yep.
9:30 to midnight on Mondays. I go 9:30 in the morning.
All the fucking time of being black pilled, which is the new conspiracy theorist slur. Because all of the people that are calling me black pilled got called conspiracy theorists during COVID for looking out their window and talking about what they saw. And so they can't call anybody a conspiracy theorist anymore because they got called that. So now they have to call me and, Whitney and a bunch of other people conspiracy or black pilled. And no, dude, I've never been more hopeful. I don't think there's rarely been a better time to go hang your shingle and do your own thing and do it your way than right now. I think we live in an era of unlimited opportunity and unlimited potential. I don't. I can't.
Dude, the Downs are crushing it.
Yeah, if the Downs are crushing it, why aren't you?
Yeah, if the Downs are crushing it, why aren't you, dude?
You found another T-shirt. You found another T-shirt, Sam.
Oh, I can't get
I'll get
anybody.
back to
I got.
I'll
Do
get
you know how
back to
many people ask me, "Hey, man, I want to try to draw that thing." I send it to them. It's like cursed. It's cursed.
Have they still really not done it? Because I'm telling you,
I've had 2 people hit me up. It'll be like 3 days. That was 2 weeks ago.
Send it to me. Send me the thing, Sam.
No, Johnny, I've already sent it to you.
I don't have it. No, I'm telling you, I'll try it with the AI.
I know everyone's like, I could do it. I can help out. I could do it. I could do it. Let me try.
XG has it. XG, send that to me, please.
I got as close as possible. Let me see if I can pull it up.
No, don't pull it up because it's a secret shirt.
All right.
Secret shirt, dude.
But no, that's real shit, man. Like, there's all kinds of people that are just absolutely crushing it right now. There's no reason why you shouldn't be. And I think people are so tied into this, corporate desk job matrix structure bullshit, and they're so scared. This is another reason why we do the Third Eye Carnival thing. People need permission to step outside of what they're used to, and they're not going to do it without permission. And so we're giving them permission, and we're also giving them, probably the time of their fucking life.
I mean,
it's live music, live podcast, live comedy, great food, great people.
Sam, do you remember when we did the Off the Grid festival, which was kind of the same? Everybody was connecting. Everybody knew that they were off the grid. Crypto was being changed. A lot of people made friends, and I was like, okay, I see this. I see the connection. I see the reason why.
Yeah. I mean, it's and then you remember when we were at that, and it was with the people. What was their website called? Man, fuck, I can't. Flow or something like that.
Yeah.
Float. Do you remember Float?
Float.
FLOTE.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
great.
yeah.
They tried. It's a hard gig. But you remember there was somebody was there was like, hey, truther. I'm a truther too. I'm just trying to see if I can get some illegal weapons. Do you know where I can get some illegal firearms?
No, it was more than that. He was like, anybody heard of 3D guns? And we're like, okay.
Oh yeah,
okay.
3D printing. I remember you guys saying that. Yeah. That's so funny. It's like, I mean,
Hey, fellow truthers.
God, so
Anyone got know where I get some 3D guns around here?
Asking for people's last name.
What's your name?
It's like
spell it
they're
for
so
me.
bad. It's like those cops that we saw trying to bust that guy in that head shop. Remember?
Yeah.
They came in and did the worst acting. They were like, "Hey man," it was like 2 cops doing it. It's like, "Hey man, I know you from somewhere, right?" "Oh yeah, bro, we're like friends or something, huh?" "Hey, do you have any of those like the good stuff? What did he tell me?" It's like they're asking for, like real weed, I think, or something like that, something that's illegal that the guy's not supposed to sell. And then the other guy goes, "Yeah, I'd like some of that too, actually. They said down the street they didn't have any." I mean, the worst acting, dude. It took that guy 3 seconds to. I don't know. We're lucky that the narcs are such bad actors. Like,
Yeah, dude, they're such idiots.
They've always been bad actors.
literally and well, literally both ways, actually, in both senses of the word. They're bad actors.
Johnny, tell them about when you went to when you had a narc on your football team.
Yeah, there was this guy showed up from California. That's what the line they told us was like, yeah, he's transferred in from California. He was playing tight end. He was the least athletic. He came in with this big reputation. Like, he was like, I don't know why they built him up like this. It's like he was gonna be a great player.
Stupid.
And he was like pudgy. Like, I have a big school, really good football team. They won a state championship a couple of years ago. And I mean, clearly couldn't play football, but he was there in the off season, so he just had to do like the conditioning stuff. And he just starts walking up to everybody in the school like, "Hey guys, you know where we could maybe get some marijuana?" And I mean, everybody, the whole school, it took a day for the entire, he had to leave because of it. The entire school knew he was like narc immediately. It was obvious. I still the guy, just this big, doughy, curly-haired guy. He was like sick. They said he was a football player just because he was tall. I guarantee you, and they wanted to get in with the football players and bust them because.
Did you hear that about David Hogg? There's all these videos of students going, "Look at this fucking narc right here.
Really?
Why are you here, dude? Why are you in our school, you fucking narc?
No kidding.
What are you, a fucking fed? These kids are calling him out. He's like, hey, whatever, bro. Whatever. I'm just here fucking because I love the school, you know? And it's just
Yeah.
like,
I'm just
I
here
mean,
because I love democratic politics.
yeah, dude. And it's just like to the point where, you know, you kind of get into like the nonlinear warfare of David Hogg. Like, you know, you got one side going, oh my God, he survived. And then all these videos come out of him like fucking like setting up the time and date of the video, which like an idiot because he'd gone to CNN summer school the summer before and he's like slating it. Today's 10:05 at 11 a.m., which is way before the shooting. But like, why does that get out? Why does he talk about in an interview where he was at home on a and when he's heard about the shooting, he got on his bike and drove over? Like, why is he saying that on film? Why does ABC allow a teacher saying, I saw a cop in army fatigue shooting people with a gun I've never seen before, which
Yeah.
is inferring an Israeli firearm?
Mhm.
Do you think? I mean, I do think sometimes when you're dealing with live events, they make mistakes, but those to me are just too high profile to be mistakes, don't you think?
But like I tried to talk to this about a high profile person. I'm not gonna say their name, and this person could not understand what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
like when you have a TV show, guys, when you see a TV show, there is an editor, there is a producer, there is an executive producer, there is a network person who all watches that before it comes out.
Except for the lives. The live, if they were doing it live, like
No, I'm
it
not
was
talking
live.
about that. What I'm talking about, all these were interviews, Johnny. Like when the
Well, yeah, but they could have
teacher.
been. I think the Hog thing was a live interview, if I'm not mistaken. One of those was a
No, Johnny. It was all these. They sat all the kids around, and then the teacher one was an
Oh no, I'm talking about
ABC
Hog. I'm talking
interview.
about David Hog. Okay.
The teacher was an ABC interview, and she says that. I go, how does that make it to the fucking airwave? That she says basically cops are shooting people. How does that make it? Oh, because that creates nonlinear warfare. Now the people on this show can run out and be like, dude, they said the cops are fucking doing it. It's a
Yeah.
false flag. And then we don't meet in the middle. It causes division again.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, did they let that? Remember that footage of that anchor talking about the royal family? How she could never get the story on the royal family to air? I mean, what do you think about that? Does that really get out there? Does somebody really
Well,
let her record that?
that wasn't presented though, Johnny. You
No.
could
What
have.
I'm saying is, if we don't believe that, then do we even believe that they would let something that was actually filmed by a camera there and recorded with their microphone escape like that? What do you think? Somebody
So
really snuck that out of there?
if it comes out and there is stuff that like gets recorded or hot mic'd or stuff like that that gets leaked out. But if it's presented with intention. And the intention is to get you to feel a certain way about it. And this is where I've always fallen on like flat earth or germ versus terrain or any of this stuff. I don't need these things to understand that the state is an inherently violent criminal mafia
Yeah.
that hates me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to necessarily, it's entertaining to me, and sometimes it's very informative to me, but I don't need to fall on one side or another of these issues
100%.
to understand that my government hates me, that world government is a bad idea, that every government is an inherently criminal organization. I don't need any of that stuff to like prove it to. What I need to do is live a different way and do things my own way and do like Sam was talking about it earlier. You take care of yourself first. You take care of your family. You can't be a good parent. You can't be a good community member if you're not like a happy, healthy, healed individual. So do that first. Take care of you first, and then take care of your family, and then be the best community member you can be, and try to get people to have handshake relationships with the people who grow and produce the food around you that are doing it without, bovine growth hormone or GMO this or vaccine that, and build those people up. Again, if we don't create the culture that we want to live in, we're doomed to live in the culture that's been forced on us, that we never consented to, that we would never agree to, that we would never vote for, or anything like that.
I agree, dude. I think that's very important that you have to find people that you vibe with and start growing a community in that. And even within the truther community, there's just so much infighting going on
Mm-hmm.
that's just so dumb. And I don't get into any of it. I don't care for any of it. I don't want to be involved in it. I'd rather go big game hunting on the people above me than just getting in fights with content creators. It's just dumb. And when I watch like the US hockey team and the Canadian hockey team start throwing down with each other, I know it looks cool. Everyone's like, yeah,
I love
it's
that.
fucking cool, bro. That's like, those are the peasants fighting with each other because the elites have started some pro wrestling bullshit. That's my whole thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's also fun to fight on ice. It really is. It's
Yeah,
difficult
I mean, they've
to fight
always
on
fought
ice,
though.
too.
I don't know if that's anything new. They've always had fights.
yeah,
And a
but
boy
they're
bounces
fighting
on the
over
ice.
that.
That's fun to
Listen,
watch.
I'm not taking anything too serious. I'm like, wow, I'm not doing that. But that is a reality that a bunch of fucking people, you have a Trump and now the guy who used to run the Bank of England, dude. The guy who ran the Bank of England is in charge of Canada, man. If there's ever an understanding of like what reach the British Empire has, the Bank of England is now in charge of Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the queen or the king is still on their money.
Yeah, dude. There's the illusion. And it's the same thing with the Revolutionary War. I think 100% that was all theater of bullshit. And reality was they wanted to get the territories away from the crown and handed to the Bank of England. That's my opinion, dude. That they all
Well,
work
and it
together.
wouldn't have been possible without the Bank of France. By the way, like France gave Benjamin Franklin like the equivalent of $40 million in order to fund the Revolutionary War.
Oh my God, dude.